Hey guys, so a lot of activity in the markets today. It seems that the concerns have gone away from being just about the uncertainty about inflation and interest rates and now moved towards actual uncertainty about the economic recovery. So here on screen, you can see the Dow, the US stocks, and you can see we've been in decline today. Those of you that are trading the Dwyer method will love that double confirmation at the bottom there. But what I want to talk about is actually another event that's been happening today. And let me bring in this Euro USD chart here. There's a bit of a lag on my screen there. Because one of the big events today has been the speech from the ECB, from Christine Lagarde, following the first strategy review for almost 2 decades. Now, the big thing from the review is the change to the inflation goal. This is kind of something that they're behind on other major central banks about, and it's something that was kind of expected in a way, but it's still important that this is now official. So previously, the goal was stated as below but close to 2%. And as you can imagine, that sort of wording is a bit vague and often confused the market, or so people say, confused the market about what was going to happen next from the ECB. Now, the new inflation goal is going to be 2% over the medium term, and that means that small fluctuations either above or below that 2% level are fine, but if there's a sustained deviation from the 2%, then action would need to be taken, such as tapering or interest rate rises. But it's still a little bit vague, and Lagarde didn't really give any specific answers as to what kind of sustained deviation would be acceptable when she was questioned by journalists. But short term, the ECB does see inflation increasing, but takes the stance that it will be only transitory, much like what we've been hearing from Jerome Powell at the Fed. I think the more interesting point here, though, is that they've obviously been struggling with inflation for a while, that they haven't been able to make inflation increase as they wanted to. And so what exactly are they going to be able to do to increase inflation now that they've changed their target? So changing this target is meant to change the way the market perceives what actions they're going to be taking, and it changes the way they can sort of design their policies. But it still doesn't answer the question of how they would get inflation to increase from their current situation. Now, overall, this could be seen as bearish somewhat for the euro, because instead of just aiming for below or close to 2%, it can now overrun without any changes being needed to monetary policy, which therefore opens the doors for maintaining ultra loose policy for much longer. But so far, as you can see, we're looking at Euro USD here, the euro has been quite bullish. It's been on a bit of a tear up today because of the wider situation in the markets. And in any case, like I said, the ECB are probably behind the other major central banks, and it doesn't really change that much. Now, overall, they're sort of having the 2% but letting it overshoot that may sound similar to what the Fed is doing, but it is actually supposedly a different strategy. So the Fed is looking to average 2% inflation, but Lagarde insisted that what the ECB is doing isn't averaging. So overall, it means that 2% is no longer the ceiling. It may not sound like much for change, but it does give the ECB more discretion in how they deal with the economy in the future, including removing the risk of tightening monetary policy too soon. And on that topic, we obviously had the meeting minutes from the Fed yesterday, and it seems that although they are obviously viewing that they need to do tapering soon and change their policy, they're not feeling too sort of impatient about it. It's not something that has to happen like rapidly. So maybe not so much for changing tone there, nothing too dramatic. But as we can see, there's a lot of activity going in the markets. I'm currently looking at Euro USD, but as I showed you earlier, that double confirmation on the Dow was pretty sweet earlier. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do hit the like button to support the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.